Hi everyone, welcome to Casual Watch Talk Sunday Social for what should be a very interesting Christopher Ward takeover show. So we're joined by a full panel here. Joined by Patrick from Christopher Ward. Thanks for joining us, Patrick.
Good to see you, Sam.
And Adrian, thanks for joining us.
Hey guys.
Well, let's kick this off. So guys, as always, keep your questions coming in the chat. Questions for any of the panel. I mean, it's going to be a Christopher Ward show, but they all are. So, but this will be in name. Adrian, well, should we do a wristwatch check? Mark, do you want to go first, and then we'll go that way around?
Yep, I am wearing my fairly new Christopher Ward 41mm reef on the bracelet. I'm waiting for the strap to arrive, but that seems to be stuck in Cincinnati. But when it does, it'll go on the white strap and the bracelet can go in the box, never to be seen again.
Awesome. Adrian, are you up for a wristwatch check? What are you wearing?
Oh, I feel like people could guess if they've
Maybe
seen my
what
channel
I think it is.
or any of my instances. I'm wearing my old Rolex Submariner. I'm not. I'm wearing my Christopher Ward Bark and Jack collab. I don't like calling it a collab, but I guess it is a collab. But this is a C60 Lumiere Bark and Jack takeover, the Green 15, which has dominated all my channel content and social media stuff.
And life,
Yeah,
maybe.
love it.
Adrian as well, in a way, recently.
And life, yeah.
Very cool. Colby, what are you wearing?
Well, I have my Christopher Ward Bel Canto Classic on. So I picked this up from actually the CW showroom in Dallas, where I live, and they had a spare at their Christmas party. And so they very nicely made a good deal on it for me, and I've just been loving it. I had the original Bel Canto. I like this better, mainly because it has a better contrast between the hands and the dial. I really appreciate that.
Nice.
Awesome. Cool. Patrick, what are you wearing?
Oh, well, I'm quite a massive loser, really, because I wanted to wear the watch I've been wearing all day. But obviously, I also wanted to wear Christopher Ward. So I'm wearing two watches. Oh, no, one of the lamps has gone. The horological, that's mine. He's not happy. He wants me to take the Tudor off. Oh, no. Sorry, chaps, the setup.
We're fine. It's
so
like
on
TV.
Today I've been wearing my Tudor, my date day. It's a Tudor homage in the truest sense, in it's a Tudor and a homage, but I love it. It's the steel and gold one. I've had it for a couple of years. And then my right wrist, I'm wearing my Bel Canto Classic, like Colby. Mine's the Argento, the silver one, that's being dimly lit. But yeah, I adore this and wear it a little bit too much, really. It's probably one of the most battered examples out there, but I'm quite proud of that, really, because I do wear it a lot.
Awesome. And then I'll round it out. Of course, I will also wearing a Christopher Ward, the Extreme GMT.
Lovely.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Oh, nice one. On which strap is that, Sam?
I don't know. It looks familiar.
Yeah, very cool.
Yes, this is I put it on the Pan Am strap to try and persuade Patrick to see if the Christopher Ward will release this as a separate standalone strap, Pan Am branded or not.
Cool strap.
The second best NATO straps that you could buy online, other than Bark and Jack.
I wouldn't know. Yeah. I don't sell NATO straps. I don't want to get sued again.
Sorry, a fabric watch attachment system.
Yeah, nice.
Kieran, thanks for joining us.
Sorry, mate. I've had problems with my internet. I apologise.
Sam, what is the forfeit? Sam, what is the forfeit for being late?
Please,
Oh, no, not the. He doesn't have to sing a song, does he? Sing a song of your choice.
I'll get you demonetised. You don't want to do that. Might get you a strike.
Well, actually, you popped in just at the right time. We're just doing the old wristwatch check, so hopefully you're wearing a Christopher Ward. Otherwise, we're going to miss the...
I can get it. It's just over there. Shall I get it? Pretend I'm wearing it.
No, you're good, Kieran.
You're all right. I'm wearing...
Yeah, go on. What are you wearing?
I'm wearing my Bowcroft Element Sunset Orange.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Very nice.
Sorry, Patrick.
Okay.
No, you're good, mate. That's a nice piece. I love Matt and the team at Bowcroft, so I'm very pleased for him and you.
Yeah, they're great.
Awesome. Okay, so we've already got a lot of questions coming through for the panel, but why don't we kick it off with, well, Adrian, how's the launch gone for your watch with Christopher Ward? Because I think there's been a lot of uploads made, a lot of social media posts. It seemed to hit the watch world with a storm.
Yeah, it's gotten really well, thanks. From so many aspects, it's in views and subscribers, sales have gone really well. It's been. I'm quite open on my channel about my journey of doing what a lot of us do, talk about watches and kind of turning YouTube into a job, and it was very much a personal milestone building a watch, and it's been really cool how so many people have recognized that and have appreciated how much of a significant milestone it is. So that's been really nice. Our community can often be quite angry at certain decisions, and there can be toxic areas. And there's certainly been criticisms about the watch because the perfect watch doesn't exist unless you're in a lucky position to build it. But yeah, all in all, it's been really nice seeing the community get behind something that we've worked on and worked for so long on. It's been a long project, a very fun project, but it's been a long one. So it's been great.
Yeah, and Patrick, you did a really good post, didn't you, about your journey with Adrian and Christopher Ward?
Oh, that was really cool.
Yeah, that was
Thanks,
pretty cool.
Yeah, it was quite sappy for a Patrick on watches. It's normally just a really poor wrist shot and the best pun I can think of in that moment. But yes, I thought it was. I mean, it was one of those. Obviously, working for a watch company, you always have the launches and the watches in particular that obviously you know about. In my position, I'm the PR manager, so I'm sort of responsible for ensuring that those that can know and need to know before a watch launch do. So yeah, we look at launches obviously ahead of time, so that you always have these ones that you're excited about, of course, and you see them in 2D on the flat plan, and then you start to see renders and prototype pieces come through. And there's so much, but you always have those projects that obviously you keep a closer eye on, that always have a lot of interest in. And yeah, it's been a year and a half odd of having that process with someone outside the business, obviously in Adrian, but it's been nice to have like a true collaboration in that sense of constant contact and back and forth. And it was nice sort of at the start to sort of reintroduce Adrian to Mike and the team at the leadership team at Crystal Ward. And then I sort of handed him over to design. Obviously, that part of it went really well, and handed him over to design. And they, we in PR and marketing, and of course, Mike, I like to think of us as very hospitable. The design team, not so much. I think Adrian will probably speak more to this, but they're very direct. They're very fair, collaborator or not, whoever you are. They don't want to get anyone in the way of efficiency. So. Yeah, and then obviously picking up and then working on the campaign more recently has been lovely as well. But yes, the backstory is I think I was just finished my second year of uni 2020, and this was sort of the worst of COVID really coming in. So a lot of the placement years, I wanted to do a placement year in between then and final year, but a lot of them were just not available or closing, and as a lot of my mates were planning on doing, I was just going to go back to uni and do the final year sort of through lockdown, which would have sucked. But yeah, none of the sort of non-watch related routes that I was trying to get through were working out. So I just did a bit of a Hail Mary email to one of my favorite YouTubers at the time, who was just starting to sort of dial up the business side of the operation. And yeah, Adrian, as I said in the post, to his poor judgment and great generosity, brought me on for the year, and we sort of I had a lot of really cool experiences. And it was through that year that I met Mike and Adrian Bushman, the senior designer, on an interview for a launch that we were covering, and yeah, that was how I eventually got my toe in the door with Mike and wangled an interview. So it's a nice sort of full circle moment, like you said, Adrian, coming back round and having you do our thing with us.
Yeah, very cool.
You're making me feel old with the university graduation. The iPod hadn't even been released when I graduated uni.
Okay.
Awesome. So we've got a couple of questions coming in. So the first one is, Adrian, I love the circular indices on the G15. How difficult was it getting Christopher Ward to stray away from their design language of uniform rectangular indices on tridents?
I don't think it was difficult at all. They seem to jump on board with that idea. I think the difficult part was, and Patrick kind of mentioned it, that the design team are quite straight talking, that they were expecting more fun, more color, more excitement on the dial. Like, no, we're going to tone everything back and make it as boring as possible. So no, yeah, that side of it, they're on board with straight away, which was really cool.
And
that was an easy one.
Can we just talk about that, the differences between it and the Lumiere? Because I haven't seen one in person, but it's a lot different, isn't it? The cases are different.
I want to let Adrian speak on the key differences, but from my perspective, you start writing the press release a couple of months before 3 or 4 months before launch. And where I started was, I'd stayed in the thread with the design group, so I was keeping an eye on what was going on. But this was the first time it had been finalised, and went about writing piece. I thought, well, the main thing here is what are the differences between this and the original Lumiere, the current series. And I was, from initial, your viewing, it doesn't look like it's that much, but I counted, and there's 23 differences for the hardcore fans that want to go through and spot them all. But that's, that I was going through the technical docs of both watches and seeing where so many small things have been adjusted. But it was, I think when you look, it's one of those crystals, you look closer and there's even more. A few, but Adrian, do you want to, what are your faves?
So I think when you first look at the watch, you might think it's what's changed, because the design just works. And I think that's the biggest confusing part, is it looks like this is what it should be. And so nothing really stands out as that's massively different. But then when you look at the original, it is really very different. The whole vibe is completely different. The amount of markings on the bezels, the bezel itself is a completely new bezel insert, both from the font, the markings, the dial texture, the grade of lume, the height of the lume. We've reduced the height of the lume just to make everything a little bit more uniform throughout, so there isn't anything massively standing out on the dial height wise. You've got a raised minute track around the outside. So there's really quite a lot. And the interesting part about the lume, I feel like the lume was the thing that we spent most of the R&D on, was getting everything, the height of it, the chamfered edges, the different colors within the lume itself, because different colored lume shines at different brightness and for different amounts of time. And so when you mix colored looms on the same watch, you have to dial it in so that they shine at the same brightness and for the same amount of time. You don't want to have one couple of indices dying before the others. So that was something that took quite a lot of time to work on. But yeah, side by side, I think they're really quite different.
I know micro brands struggle with that, don't they? When they're prototyping watches, is getting the hands and all the lume to match or to be bright at the same consistency.
Yeah, and it's little things like that which cost money. It's time in getting it done. It's time in developing the ingredients, the concoctions to make this stuff. And ultimately, you're waiting for someone else. I mean, we feel this all the time when we're developing new hardware and new straps and things. It's not just a matter of deciding something and doing it. You have to wait to actually see it in person and test it to see if something's actually going to work. And if it doesn't work, you need to tweak it, wait for that production to happen, then get it back, then do your tests again. So all of this stuff just takes time. CW managed to do it. And the Lume guys are absolutely awesome.
Kieran, have you seen did you see one of these yet?
The Adrian collaboration. No.
The Adrian. Why did we call it that?
Well, it's Adrian's watch, isn't it? It's him all over.
Yeah, it is.
No, I haven't got one. No, I'm not a big tool watch guy, so I got the press release for it, but I thought it was better fit for other people than me. I wouldn't appreciate all the details like somebody would if they like the regular Trident, for example. I like the fancy stuff from Christopher Ward, the really fancy stuff.
Yeah, you're a fancy guy, Kieran.
I'm not. See, the thing is, I'm not a fancy guy, but I just like the fancy stuff. I don't know why. This gets me excited.
And I'm a tool, so it fits well.
I'm also a tool. If that makes me feel, or a tool watch. This I said to Patrick when he showed me this Extreme. I'm like, oh, I can't do a collab watch because this is probably what I would have done. It's already out. Yeah. Colby, what did you think of it?
I really like it. Yeah, I think it's solid. I was curious, what were the, if I can have ask Adrian, what were the specific inspirations for some of the changes that were made? Like, why the circular loom plots over the rectangular ones? Was there any specific inspiration, or you just liked it better?
I guess I like it better, but yeah, there were quite a few sources of inspiration. That format, the triangle, round plots, and batons, it's kind of become quite a standard for serious divers. I guess most famous by the Submariner, and we used a mill sub within our pitch deck of areas of inspiration. So I used the mill sub for the loom plots. There was the minute track was inspired by the Tudor Pelagos. The initial hands that we spec'd were inspired by the old sword hands from a vintage Seamaster. And then we had the bezel. I'm editing a video right now going through these little elements. The original bezel insert that we designed and spec'd up was based on the Seamaster bezel, where the 0 to 15 are marked, and then you've got dots throughout. It might actually be the Ploprof, one of the Seamasters, marked from 0 to 15 on the bezel, and then afterwards it's got dots throughout. So we knew we wanted a fully marked bezel. Christopher Ward then came back and extended those marks and said we could either do it two ways. We could either have full-size numerals and have dots throughout the bezel and have the numerals loomed, but we couldn't loom the dots. Or we can have slightly smaller numerals on the bezel and have lines, have batons throughout the bezel, and then have all of those inserts loomed. And so we went with that. We thought that worked out well. So there are quite a few points of inspiration. There was also the philosophy of, I've done quite a bit of work now with Porsche design. And I've learned quite a lot of history around FA Porsche's design philosophy around focusing on the function and allowing form to follow that, which sounds proper, you don't swear and hit, which sounds woo-woo. Yeah. But there's a lot of seriousness around it. And that was where the idea around the dial color and texture came from. So FA Porsche used matte black instrument panels for the dashboard in the race cars, and used matte white indices for the numerals, and so that was where the idea come from. So there's lots of different sources of inspiration. The overall thought was I just want to make a proper tooly watch, something that just tells the time and does it with absolute best legibility as possible. And then Christopher Moore made it good looking, because my renders were terrible. It was Mickey Mouse stuff.
Very cool. Matt, can you hear us? What did you think?
I liked it. I'm a fan of the Lumiere. I just haven't bought one yet.
Well, now you have an opportunity, Mark.
You guys can criticize. I've got very thick skin. I'm on YouTube. I'm used to criticism.
Standout element for me was oddly the toned down matte black dial with the fewer textures, with the less texture. That suits my way of thinking of things to be done. I like the idea of the 15 minutes being emphasized. I thought that was very clever, and I really, really liked the case back.
Cool.
Open case backs are great, but having that creativity and the texturing on the case back, I thought that made this stand out. I mean, the Lumiere is a watch I like, and there are some really, really nice elements on the Green 15. But that
Thanks very much.
that case back maybe, and this is where you'll need the thick skin. Take out the Bark and Jack logo, but give me the textured case back on the standard Lumiere. It's such a great idea.
Well, that was the case back was entirely Christopher Ward's. I don't know which designer it was, but it was entirely their concept. That was the bit that they came to us with. I think I pitched. Oh no, I did. I used the Tudor case backs as a point of inspiration, and there's an IWC case back that I really liked, but they completely ignored those and came back with this.
So it's Mick. Michele is his actual name, but we call him Mick. It was his brilliant brain, and he was such a big fan of the channel, Adrian, before you'd met him, and so he'd been watching for a while and noticed these details, and I think he came out with the idea for the pocket knife, which was awesome. But do you also remember there was a design at one point? And I think this must have been a similar time as to when the project was beginning, because you dropped your Explorer 2, quite obviously much to your irritation. And I seem to remember one of the case backs having the idea that we'd have a sort of shattered effect of a shattered Explorer 2 glass as the case back. But I never actually saw your reaction to that.
That's
so
cool.
I didn't know if you hated it or
cool.
You never wanted it to be mentioned.
I had that YouTuber reaction when you dropped your Explorer. I was like, oh, that's awful, but that's really good content.
Come on.
I had to find a way of paying the bill to get that.
Hey, your service video did really well, didn't it? I think
it did, yeah. And interestingly, they now use that within Rolex to show the process of what goes on.
That's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Which was really absolutely bizarre. I should invoice them for using it.
At least a free
pay
service,
well,
I reckon.
Yeah, well, I need to get my Submariner. My Submariner's dead. I don't know where it is, but it's dead. So I need to get that serviced.
Cool. Should we jump on some of these questions then? So first one, Brassic Time says, I'm not a fan of CW's standard dagger hour hands. Some Christopher Wards have different handsets, e.g. the super compressor. Will more models feature different hands in future?
Adrian, do you want to take this one?
What?
New head designer after the success
for comparison.
Yeah. I mean, I think for Sealander and for Trident, it definitely boils down to identity. For the last 5 years, both of those platforms have built, further into their own identities. I think we teased in Loop already. Sealander will be seeing some updates over the course of this year, and I think at its sort of inception, it was sort of the height of Trident, or not the height of Trident, but Trident was definitely something that we knew was successful at that point. So it took a lot of the features like the handset that are a little bit more sporty. And I think going forward, the Sealander will be that little bit more refined, and that obviously will fall into the handset. So yes, I would say there's going to be some changes and some sort of refinements in some of the handsets of the more popular models pretty soon.
Russell's in the house, Mad Watch Collector.
Oh, get him on,
Russell. I every week I'm like, please come on, but it's a bit late for him with his kids
bless
and
him.
stuff.
Yeah.
Here's Patrick at Pocket Watch Time, of course, asking, how about Christopher Ward Bark and Jack Pocket Watch?
Oh, we could. I absolutely love pocket watches. What camera on? Oh, we could do a killer pocket watch.
How would you make that a tool watch though? The first hyper tool watch pocket watch.
Don't care. It would
I
just
honestly
be
think
so
if someone did a
fun to
pocket
work.
watch with like lug cutouts underneath, so you could actually wear it as well, on a NATO strap, on a Bark and Jack NATO strap, it would be.
I was campaigning for that with the Alliance.
I've got so many of these little guys. I'd just buy them off eBay. Cool. Yeah.
Or you could solder some wire lugs onto it and call it a wristwatch.
Yeah.
Basically how
they've done that, Mark. They've done that already. I've seen that. They've done that.
About
Shinola
1910.
Let's have a look what else we've got up. So next one is these are coming thick and fast here. We had one that was about the case sizes. Will you ever do a 41 Sealander GMT? Well, this is 40. This was 42, wasn't it? I think
this is 41.
This is 41.
The Lumiere.
Lumiere's 41.
Cheers, Mark.
I think he's asking for the 41 in the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was at.
Yes, because at the moment it's
Extreme.
a 36, a 39, and then yes, Sam, the Extreme is 41, I believe. So yeah, there is, the Extreme is a 41mm Sealander. In terms of the more traditional ones, no, at the moment the 39 is. I mean, I would say if you haven't worn it to try it, because it definitely wears a little bit larger than 39 suggests. But no, for the moment the 41, the Extreme GMT, is, and then next month there is another Sealander that will also be larger. So yeah, maybe watch out for that. You've got options, as ever, at Christopher Ward.
Okay. We've got, so we've got a tricky one here. So it says, here's the thing, no disrespect, but it really looks like my Submariner. Was there any discussion of taking away the CW design language? By the way, Adrian is 100% right. Solid dial choice.
I don't think it. I can see why people think it looks like a sub. Right, let me find my sub.
We're getting technical.
We're getting technical now. This is the kind of highbrow on a Sunday, the Sunday social.
Yeah. I hope we appreciated the branded merch, by the way, here. Full commitment to the collaboration.
I can see the similarities because we have a triangle at 12, batons at 369, and then the dots. But it's kind of like if Land Rover were to if Toyota were to make the old Land Rover with modern technology and with modern styling. So yes, this certainly has elements of vintage Submariners.
Mm.
This has white gold surrounds, superluminova. The indices are tiny. Yes, this is a legit dive watch, but no one's going diving in. I mean, I paid $5,000 for this, but whatever it is now. This doesn't have that functionality, whereas this has much more usable loom plots, huge loom plots.
I think for me,
and a raised minute track.
Yeah. I think, Adrian, if you took over control of Submariner design journey from the mid-60s, early 60s, the Green 15 would be probably there or thereabouts where we'd be now in terms of Submariner, right? Yeah, I think the sub went quite a different way to how it could have done as a tool watch initially, I guess.
Yeah, and there are definite elements of that layout of dial, but I feel like this is perhaps what the Submariner should have been had it carried on going down the route of actually being a tool watch, because there's so many elements of it going off into being a fancy watch. It's got a gloss dial and white gold markers and a Bible full of text down at 6 o'clock. I'm not bashing myself. Flopping love it. But it's not the tool watch that it's marketed to be, whereas I feel like this Green 15 is. I mean, the movement's not quite as... this movement doesn't work, so yeah, it is a better movement.
Come on, 1-0.
my sub-movement's dead.
Oh, Colby, you'll have to talk about how you bought the Starbucks Rolex, sold it, but then missed it and bought it straight back.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, I love the sub, and it's great. I think this is my problem with when anybody says, "Oh, this watch looks like this other watch," or every watch looks like a Rolex. Well, it's one of those things where there's a common design language, and all watches, including Rolex, are borrowing from this common design language, and so yeah, I just there's another comment that talks about how it looks like a Unimatic, and I don't think that's a very generous interpretation either.
Yeah, I happen to agree with you on when you look at. I'm going to try and pretend like I know what I'm talking about with design, but when you look at functional things from a design point of view, there's an element of it looks this way because that's the best way for it to look like. And that's the benefit of it having multiple shapes and hour markers is it simply improves legibility beyond having numerals, which then would be individual shaped hour markers for all the hours. To improve legibility, triangle at the top, because that's kind of just the universal thing, and then batons and circles throughout. And the best format is to have 2 circles and 1 baton. If you had to have double baton and 1 circle, so circles at 3, 6, 9, and then batons on the other, that would simply busy the dial. It would simply make it more cluttered. And so the best format to have multiple shapes and have legibility is to have dots and batons, batons at 3, 6, 9. And so it is just one of those things, unfortunately, that's the way it should look like. It's a bit like saying all 4x4s look like Land Rover Defenders. Yeah, but the boxy shape is the shape it needs to be for people to sit up high and to have high clearance over rocks and things. So I get it, but things look a certain way because that's the best way for them to look, I think.
Yeah, I've died on this hill many times in chat rooms, but there is a difference between homage and what most watch collectors call homages, which are just copies of other things. Whereas homage is taking inspiration from another design and moving it forward or reinterpreting it instead of just a one-for-one copy, which I think we've had that term's kind of been used and abused in the watch world. Let's have a look. We've got some more questions coming through here. So somebody's asking, Adrian, why did you go with the Lumiere platform for the watch instead of the Sealander or the Trident?
There's quite a few platforms that I could have gone with. If I was to think of making a Bark & Jack, a Thule watch.
It was never going to be a Belcanto, was it?
A matte black Belcanto.
Yeah.
We'd have to change it.
Brushed everything.
Or all those loom plots on a loco. That would be cool.
Oh, no. Don't, Mark. Don't give him ideas.
In no way, shape, or form would that make a loco work.
Don't give him ideas.
Sometimes you get hands-on with the watch, and all of us know this feeling because we've all bought a watch. And so there's sometimes you get hands-on with a watch and think, this is it. This is the one. And it was the C60 Lumiere that I put on the wrist and thought, this is all the metal parts of it, all the hardware was absolutely spot on. I loved how thin it was. I loved that it was a nice size on the wrist. I thought the bracelet was fantastic. All of it worked so well. It was just the dial. And I thought the dial is the easiest part to change. The hardest part to develop is the case and the bracelets, because a dial is something that, well, you can't do anything, but it's a relatively easy thing to change without having to do too much tooling. So I thought this could be the one that I mess about with. It just worked.
Next question up is Christopher Ward seems to be bifurcating as a brand. You have the 1K to 2K range of watches that have made your name, but now you have the Loco, the 12 specials, the Belcanto at higher price bracket. Is there a CW Atelier in the future brand?
Yeah, I think
it is.
Yeah, I mean, there already is. As Mark says, we have Atelier, Christopher Atelier collection, which launched 3 or 4 months ago now, sort of relatively quietly. But the reason for that is we wanted more to sort of actions rather than words, I guess, launching new Atelier watches that sort of that do the talking in terms of what the collection's all about. The clear definition is in-house work inside, whether that's modules or a ground up in-house movement, as we have a few of now. That's what defines Atelier at the moment for Christopher Ward. I think it's good news for all readers in a sense that I think it's fairly clear in the watch Mark's wearing in the June Alien that we launched last year that we will 100% continue to cater for that classic price point, so the entry level. We always want to make the best dive watch for £1,000, and whatever we're doing at £2,000 or in the Atelier range, that's always an intention. And any benefits to the supply chain, the supply partners, design that comes into the band through what's done in Atelier inevitably trickles down to make even better entry level value watches. So we will all, I think it's fairly clear we will continue making watches in that entry level price point, but equally for people that have got those watches or have a slightly higher budget or slightly different things that they want out of a watch, we're now making chiming watches, in-house movements, free sprung balance wheels, etc. And I think for newcomers to the brand, it's really exciting that you can start at one place and sort of climb the ladder as far as you like, really. So yeah, I think no one needs to worry in terms of Christopher Ward's being available at that entry level for sure for the future.
Do you still have the Valor going?
We do, Mark. Yeah, I mean the Valor. So the Valor is
so that's the starting point.
Yeah. I think 695 maybe UK
Like that.
On a strap. It's a quartz chronograph, but that platform's been the basis, Mark, for watches like the Goodison, a watch we made with Tottenham Hotspurs earlier this year. So that sort of that case and model as well as sort of seen its life in others. But yeah, so it's varied. We're still varied, which is great.
Well, and if I can add on to that, from my perspective, and I have talked to quite a few people who said, that they love the watch, but they couldn't understand why it's $3,000. And I think a popular misconception that I run into is that Christopher Ward is a watch brand that makes watches around $1,000. And maybe that was the identity at some point, but my understanding is today, Christopher Ward isn't about $1,000 watches. It's about, we give you exceptional value at every price point, right? I know you guys talk about reprogramming what $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 feels like. And so if that's the proposition, I would love to see a $10,000 Christopher Ward.
I mean, me too. Thank you, Colby. Yeah,
I mean, what would that would be crazy.
Yeah, agree. And I think that what's sort of exciting about the Christopher Ward brand is, you ask somebody, what do you think a $10,000 brand X would look like if it's an entry level brand at the moment? Then you might imagine some precious metal thing with some diamonds on. When the £10,000 Christopher Ward comes, and I believe it will in my lifetime, I hope. It's not going to be a precious metal case, but it's going to be a bloody hell of an impressive movement and some serious tech going on in there to warrant, with the markup model as it is, to warrant that price tag. So, yeah, exciting thought.
Well, maybe you and Adrian can get working on a $10,000 mechanical chronograph.
Yeah, stick it all.
Any plans for a mechanical chronograph?
Oh, I see. So you were segueing into the next question.
It was seamless. I just
I
segued
was
straight in
where's
there.
he going with that?
Smooth.
For a mechanical chronograph. Not in the.
Well, don't forget.
Go on, Mark.
Don't forget that the CW architecture is based on the Valjoux 775X anyway.
Yeah, they were chunky.
So you've got the framework for a chronograph already.
Yeah, I guess that's a take. I think in all honesty, short-term future, nothing is on its way. I think long-term there is certainly projects in the works at various stages. And it's one of those platforms that we all love as enthusiasts. And we speak to a lot of customers that enjoy the stuff we've done in the past, some of the chunkier chronos, but would like something a little bit more wearable for the future. But it's just one of those platforms that commercially, you'll never, a three-handed dive watch with a date or a GMT sports, it's just not as commercially sort of lively. But I think as an enthusiast brand, it certainly will be something we'll address. There's no mechanical chronograph in the range at the moment, so I don't think that'll be the case forever.
Okay. We've got.
But
this
you've
is
done
quite a funny one.
before, though.
Of course.
Yeah.
Salute to the 500 series, 510 maybe.
Completely agree with that. Some of it is a Beverly Hills Range Rover G15 as a dune bashing Defender. I love that.
I love it.
I love to be in your next what the press say.
Yeah. any automotive comparison and analogy for watches is right where I sit. That's prime pub chat. Yeah. I think. What can we compare with automotive? And that is
just as long as no one calls it a Morris Marina.
Well, what is the horological Morris Marina? I bet it's a great watch. Can't quite think of it here.
Yeah. My first car was a Morris Marina.
The trunnions will wear out in 10,000 miles.
We've got we've got some hard-hitting questions coming through now here. So, will a Bark and Jack grey ribbed nylon strap on my Seiko Dress KX black dial make it a legit tool watch?
Of course, it will absolutely elevate it into tool watch territory.
Agree. Second that.
These are let's have a look.
I can't wait to see the Green 15 once it hits wrist and hits other straps, because I think that will be, because you've only really shot it on it comes with a strap, doesn't it? But we haven't seen it on too many others yet, so I'm excited to see what creations
that's happening this week.
With. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Did the Yachtmaster serve as an inspiration for the Green 15?
No, not for me. But I absolutely love the Yachtmaster. I don't understand why it isn't more of a thing. It's actually one of my favorite Rolex lines.
Sean Holloway is asking, Adrian, can you talk about the strap and what is coming out on your site? Oh, might get an exclusive.
Oh no, that's here, but I can't show you that. It's not ready yet.
Boo.
So the strap is so we're working with I keep showing the wrong camera. We're working with an incredible strap maker in France, who usually works on really fancy leather stuff, and so we're pushing them more into tool. We're basically using their technology and their craftsmanship to build sports tool straps rather than the fancy leather stuff, and it's coming out really well. And this is the first iteration of that. And so we've got a textured rubber upper. We have padding material that doesn't get damaged by water, so it's not going to hold on to water and go moldy on the inside. And then we have it's a rubber backing, but it's not a sweaty rubber. It's kind of porous, and the whole thing's quite porous actually, but it doesn't mold. And so this is a completely waterproof strap, despite the fact it looks like it would be damaged by water. But it's absolutely fantastic.
Okay, so it's got like a sail.
Of course, I think that's it's like a textured sailcloth, but it isn't sailcloth. And then the backing is this rubber, porous rubber. So you have the pros of rubber with regards to the strength and waterproofness. It's funny talking about straps being waterproof, but it's not going to get moldy. That's the whole point of it. But you have it in a traditional strap format, which works really well. These will be coming to our shop soon. This is the Christopher Ward version. So this was made to Christopher Ward specifications. For our version, we need to do a little bit more tweaking, and our hardware needs a little bit more tweaking as well. And it all just takes time.
What are the odds that the launch and the hardware will be exactly the same as ours? Oh well, we'll let it go.
That's why we're redoing it.
Yeah.
To make it like yours. No, it's not. No, we've got our own.
Just to second the point.
Hardware,
to second the point, this is a quality strap, Sam. Our merchandising team. This was true collaboration again. In the Adrian, as you said, brought in made the decision on the supplier. Merchandising fell off their chair when they saw the cost price, and we make quality straps, as you know, Sam. But these are really our top tier things at quality. So.
Yeah. I haven't seen the strap yet, but the strap did look very, very good on the images I saw. It's just like, yeah, I kind of would love to see that strap going forward on more watches, because it's cool. It's it's waterproof, as you say. It's got the texture. It's padded. So yeah, that was another. I suppose it's watch related, but part of the watch I liked, even though I generally prefer bracelets.
Yeah,
thanks, mate. That's cool.
Cool strap.
Awesome. How did Patrick? Do you want to talk about the Pan Am one, because that's the last one I got my hands on?
Yeah, it's been
how it sold. I know. I mean, I really liked it, but it definitely nobody didn't have an opinion on it. I'll put it that way, did they? No, it wasn't like a meh watch. It was like you either had the pendulum was either one way or the other on their opinions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we love that, honestly. A polarizing launch day it's really good fun. Any launch day is good fun because you have, Mike, Sarah, a lot of the team sort of milling around. watching YouTube videos, reading articles, seeing on the forum, CWE Facebook group, just seeing how things have gone down. And yes, this was one of those where if you looked at the CWE and maybe the forum in isolation, you would have thought, oh my, we're going to be selling these until Christmas. Because the reception, apart from some CW loyals, wasn't great. But what's really cool as a brand now is making these collaborations, some incredibly watch world focused, as we are here, but then you have an American icon like Pan Am, and it was Mike Pierce, and I think that had the connection or the first thought that this could be a cool link up. And then just that, I think approaching a Pan Am themed GMT, there is so many sort of cliche hazards that you mustn't trip over when you're designing something that's got so many iconic features attached to it. And I think just the way they sort of took the Trident in its GMT form and sort of made these original, obviously there's a color scheme, but I think the execution was amazing. And so that was a watch. There were 707 pieces, the 707 Clipper, and they sold in just under 6 days. So that was a really crazy reaction when you think of it's an LE, but it's a big LE, and for it to move that quickly was remarkable, really.
I actually thought it was going to sell out in hours. Do you remember? Because I missed.
You did,
I got my timings wrong, and I was like, because I posted mine like an hour later, and I'm like, oh no, I probably missed the boat here.
It is, but I think we have to, you have to think sometimes. You know about these watches before they launch, and we do, of course. And you make these assumptions, but when you think about it, that's a heck of a lot of people making a big decision. Buying a nice watch like that so quickly, and it always blows my mind. When you see launch day sales, and this is a watch that no one's seen before, but I think there's an amazing aspect that we're trusted, to them, that what we've launched will be good, and they just want to do it. So it's always amazing to see that on launch day.
What one has recent of them, which is the fastest selling? Was it the pocket watch? Did that go? Which one of the last?
Well, so we've had a few. There's one that I'm confident you won't know about. That's quite interesting. But the pocket watch was pretty crazy. That was 100 units, and that was just under 15 minutes. We were on a call with the team. They were in their place actually in Maidenhead, and we were in ours on a call. And it was a short call because in 15 minutes they were
That's
gone.
wild.
So that's 100 pieces. But then we have the Goodison, which is obviously we're partnered with Everton Football Club, run the sleeve in the Premier League, and we made a watch for them called the Goodison, which was based on, like you said earlier, Mark, the Valor's quartz chronograph. Good, cool G10 quartz CTA movement. And there was this Goodison version with a piece of turnstile. It's not very Christopher Ward generally to put a historical artifact in a case back, but we did it on this, and that was just under 2,000 pieces. And I believe it was just a couple of days that went, and that was nothing to do with Watch World. Didn't really see our marketing channels. It was all about the collaboration and going out to there. So there's been examples, a few interesting ones. But yes, the pocket watch was pretty crazy.
Awesome. Okay, so we've got a lot more questions coming through. Let's have a look here. So, really excited for British Watchmakers Day C1 Loco Special Edition. So saying that they fly in the same day, and they're looking for it. Sorry, that kind of went through, but so somebody's flying in for British Watchmakers Day, and they're really excited about the C1 Loco.
Cool. Yeah, that would be a good watch. It's one of those that we just with the way that the Alliance wanted people to announce their pieces. We've mentioned it quite early, and we will get to it, and more comms on that to follow. And it is really special. And if you can find some of the articles that are out there already on it, it's truly a cool thing. But we'll start going on about it a lot more, a little bit near the time towards the end of the month. But you'll be at British Watchmakers Day, I take it, Adrian?
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'm going to be doing coffee again.
Nice. Yeah, you were. Yeah. You mentioned
fun.
You can't make it over, can you, Sam?
No, I won't be over. No, no, I don't think so. Maybe I'll see how it goes.
You'd love it. You'd love it.
Yeah, because I forgot that you did coffee there, because it was Brew that did it at Wind Up New York, didn't they? Brew did.
Yeah, they stole the idea off Adrian.
Well, Adrian, if it
I've
makes
no
you feel
idea
any
if that's
better,
true.
it was like 30 minutes to get a cup of coffee from them. They had a really obviously a high skilled barista, so every coffee was like an art form that he was making, and the queue was like right down the. You must have seen that, Patrick. The queue was like right down one of the aisles, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
I saw a very stressed-looking Jonathan at about 3:30. He had, 1,000 people waiting for coffee and watches.
yeah. So we've got another question. How did you guys source the seatbelt straps, by the way, Patrick? Real 707 seatbelts, if I'm correct.
No, so they're not. We explored that route as much as possible, but that was the initial thought. Can we make these out of surplus seatbelt material? A lot harder to come across than you might have thought, I think, than maybe we initially thought. And like we say, there's 707 of these, so it was quite a lot of material. So no, what we ended up doing was we found as close to the feel and look of these, the seatbelt material we used, and went with that. But I think it's a shame we couldn't have found the stuff. That Goodison chronograph I mentioned, the strap was made from match worn Everton shirts. We honestly we take on challenges every now and again with making straps really hard to do. But this is a sort of an imitation of the look. But it is cool, as you know, Sam, and you've stolen your sample strap, which is fine.
It got lost in the post.
Yeah, sure, I heard that.
Yeah, because I mean, those Pan Am planes are either been repurposed as Delta, or they're in a plane graveyard somewhere in a desert, probably. So,
as much as I wanted to send our junior designer over with a pair of scissors to one of those plane graveyards, it wasn't really on the timeline.
He wants to go out with those guys that do the Pan Am key rings and they stamp them out. They buy like the wing and then stamp it, or a piece of the fuselage and stamp the key rings out of it.
Yeah.
You know what? Can I just I'm curious about those straps, because I love the watch, but actually I got really excited about that strap too, just because you don't see. I don't like definitely not NATO straps, whatever we're calling them, fabric straps. I don't like taking the spring bars out and then putting the strap on there and then putting the spring bars back in. So I really love that it solves that problem with the quick release straps. The only other strap I've seen that on is the Tudor Black Bay GMT. They do something similar, but they don't have the quick release. So I thought that was as good as the watch, and I really like the watch. How did that come about?
I honestly don't know, Colby. That was the first sample came like that. I couldn't tell you if it will continue, if we'll do single piece straps like that in the future. But yeah, it's so neat. And I don't know. I'd imagine there isn't any protection on that method. We haven't heard from anyone yet, at least. I know it's troubled waters, the whole fabric strap space. Test too, but no, I think I'm sure we've heard that in the feedback though, certainly, that it's a really cool thing. So I'm sure you'll see variants of it, over foreseeable.
Thomas is asking, am I missing the super chats? Yeah, Thomas, I am. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I've not seen any. My apologies. Thank you if you sent a super chat. Let's see. So actually, Adrian, the shooting for the G15 that you did you go to Switzerland? Especially, was that done in Switzerland? The mountain, you sort of went on a outdoor adventure.
Oh right, that was the Glencoe mountain region. Actually, no, I was going to say it's 40 minutes from me in Scotland. No, it's about a 2-hour drive north from me in Scotland. So no, that's one of the main mountain areas in Scotland. Beautiful area.
You did visit Christopher Ward in Beale, I think.
That's right. Yeah, So the first video, I guess, of this campaign that was a bit more mysterious was visiting the atelier. Easter eggs of the watch.
But Mark, do feel free to grill Adrian, because Adrian, I'm not sure how aware you might be, but you're one of really quite a small list at the moment. We're very keen to bring more people and showcase more of what we're doing, and what's over there is growing as well. But as you'll know, Mark, not many people really have gone and come back to tell the tale, have they?
They go missing.
Yeah.
They get turned into a strap.
I would have to make sure I give you more than about 15 minutes notice.
Yeah. That's what happened to Timepiece Gentleman, Sam. We got him over and no one's seen him since.
Timepiece Gentleman.
It didn't land. Never mind.
Sorry, I was just seeing if I did miss a super chat. Yeah, sorry for Thomas. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool because I expected it was like a converted house. I hadn't put those two and two things together, but I think they all are, aren't they? Or a lot of the watch companies are sort of repurposed people's homes.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
I think Urban Jurgensen seems to be a much larger house.
Okay, thanks, Mark. We might upgrade at some point.
If you
they've got millions of investment behind them.
If you walk from Christopher Ward to Armin Strom, you go past Urban Jurgensen.
Yes, they are
and
nearby.
Then you've got Armin Strom, which seems to be a larger house than Christopher Ward.
Yeah, but we are all in the shadow.
Not
of the
much
Swatch
larger.
building.
They've got I've been to Armin Strom. It's not a huge house. Yeah, they've got a large downstairs production, a basement production. Sorry, and a lot more machinery. But it's probably 50% bigger. But it's very interesting the repurposing of houses.
Yeah. But isn't it crazy, Adrian? We are all in the shadow of this Swatch Goliath at the end of the road, literally from where Chris Ward building is. It's just this Swatch palace, really.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a factory. Dirty.
No. Well, they designed it to look like a snake, but interestingly, most days you'll see someone standing on the roof patching a leak. I think it famously leaked quite a lot. Sorry, I dipped out.
Is it just me that he's pitching for? Is it?
Breaking up a little tiny bit.
I'm just waiting for Christopher Ward to do the Christopher Ward Museum like the Omega and Swatch museums.
Oh dear.
That would be a fun day.
I think they've got something similar down in the head office. At least they've got some vintage pieces down there.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to visit the yard yet, but it does amuse me that Studio Underdog is in the old Christopher Ward building at 1 Park Street in Maidenhead. So,
before Patrick gets back on, maybe we can answer this from Thomas. We'll just hazard a guess. Patrick and panel, with 4 limited edition Christopher Wards, Pan Am, Bark and Jack, British Watchmakers Day Loco, and the upcoming Watch Gecko being announced in 1 month, is it overkill? And is there a potential for customer fatigue, or more the merrier?
Yeah, I can see pros and cons from both sides. I guess the fact of them being limited edition is Christopher Ward are going to have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of customers, and not all the limited editions are going to speak to all the people. For example, my one is black and white. It's unlikely that someone's going to want that as much as they want the very colourful Pan Am. And so I feel like, yes, there's a lot going on. They're launching a lot, and there's absolutely room for criticism there. On the other side is they're not launching the same watch over and over. They're going to cater for different people, and the same for the Loco. It's a completely different package from the others. So yeah, I think there's space for everyone.
Sorry, I'm back.
We answered this one for you, Patrick.
Thanks.
The one about the number of limited editions that have
glad
come
I
out,
didn't
and is
have to
there
do
a
that one.
potential
Thanks,
customer
guys.
fatigue? Yeah, we did it.
I told them not to buy anything apart from the Bark and Jack.
Great, yeah.
The green,
Fine.
everything else is crap. Just green 15.
Cool. Good. Sorry about that.
Awesome. Well, so we're coming up nearly to the end of the panel. But Patrick, if you can just clear up one thing that we keep getting asked on each week on the live streams is Christopher Ward doesn't sponsor Casual Watch Talk behind the scenes. And what more do I have to do to get you to sponsor the channel? No,
Well,
if they are, then I'll be having words with Patrick because I'm getting nothing.
No, well, I've told you both about the tattoo. You get the tattoo and we start talking, all right? On the forehead, twin flags, nice and large. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah. People often ask if Casual Watch Talk is a stealth name for Christopher Ward Talk. And of course, I have to agree.
Of course.
We did actually. Sorry, I did actually get a super chat. It hasn't shown up here, so thank you for the very generous super chat that was sent through. Thelonious Monk. Sorry about that. Cool. Well, guys, thank you. Big thanks to the panel. Thank you for everyone being so active in the comments. Hopefully we got through the majority of your questions. Very, very much appreciated. And we'll see you next week on Casual Watch Talk. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Amazing. Thanks,
Thanks, Sam.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.